I guess.
The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and/or interviews in the following program are solely those of the individuals and are not views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome, foolish mortals, to the season finale of Horror Hotel, a PapiChuloRadio.com original series, Papi Chulo Radio, Pop Culture on Demand. I am your host and hotel owner, Jeffrey Aruz. We're so glad you could check in. We've been dying to have you. Here on Horror Hotel, we are going to explore some of Hollywood's scariest, most frightening, and creepiest films. Please welcome my co-hosts, Night Manager, Legionnaire.
Oh, if there's too many white people, I get nervous.
Same here. And Night Auditor, Mark Estes.
I am the TS motherfucking A. We get shit done.
That's what I heard. That's what she said. The TSA with some DSLs. Bam! Someone out there got it. It sounds like it was Legionnaire in this group. Before we head on over to the ballroom, let's stop by the front desk where one of our bellhops has a few special announcements.
Good evening. We thank you for your patronage. Please step all the way in and make room for everyone. There's no turning back now. I didn't mean to frighten you prematurely. The real chills come later. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR Horror Hotel. Follow Papi Chulo Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube, at Papi Chulo Radio. For more information on Horror Hotel, visit papichuloradio.com/Horror Hotel. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@papichuloradio.com. Help support Papi Chulo Radio financially by visiting gofundme.com/papichuloradio. Are you interested in joining the Papi Chulo Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@papichuloradio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Papi Chulo Radio programs by visiting papichuloradio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Papi Chulo Radio's Horror Hotel and subscribe. Now, grab some popcorn and some snacks. You may step into the ballroom. It's time for your feature presentation.
Thank you. It's time to fire up the film projector one last time so that we can discuss 2017's Get Out. Here's the official synopsis of the film. Chris and his girlfriend Rose go upstate to visit her parents for the weekend. At first, Chris reads the family's overly accommodating behavior as nervous attempts to deal with their daughter's interracial relationship. But as the weekend progresses, a series of increasingly disturbing discoveries lead him to a truth that he never could have imagined. Alright, y'all know my question. So for the final time this season, I am asking, had you ever seen 2017's Get Out? Let's start off with Legionnaire.
I have. I've seen it and seen it and seen it.
Mark?
Yep. I had to go see that bad boy as soon as it hit the theaters, and so yes, very much great movie. Great crowd I saw it with too. But.
Nice. And I had as well. So we're all on the same page. I'm excited. All right, so let's get into it. Let's break it down, and let's discuss this. So Jordan Peele, famously of Key and Peele, wrote it back in 2009, if I'm recalling correctly. And the only thing that he changed, I think he changed the intro, and I think he changed the ending.
Yep, the ending.
I actually read the original script, and the ending was darker, but it isn't a quote-unquote happy ending, although it kind of is a quote-unquote happy ending if you think about the state of mind of the main character, because he seems satisfied with what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Did y'all by any chance listen to the commentary track about why he decided to cut that scene?
Let's you know what, we can break it down, because I mean the movie is still, I think, fresh in everyone's mind, so we don't necessarily have to go in any type of order, to be quite honest, because all of it is good, if I can be frank. So for those out there that don't know, the original ending actually has Chris go to jail.
Yes.
And if I recall correctly, I think the final scene is him getting questioned by a detective or somebody law enforcement wise, and they keep on asking, what exactly was going on, all this proof of this, can you tell us? And basically he doesn't respond, and the scene ends with almost like him having almost like a satisfied look on his face or something like that. And that's the end of it, if I recall correctly.
He was talking to.
Yeah, he was talking to Rod.
Oh, he was talking. Oh, okay. And he was like, you
Rod.
need to tell the truth or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to tell him what really happened. Tell him what really happened. And he was like, well, it's so fantastic, they're not going to believe it, but it's fine because I stopped it. Was basically how the scene unfolded.
Yeah, and Jordan Peele said that one of the reasons why he changed the ending was because a lot of people had become more, and I'm doing air quotes, woke, and
baby creep.
And he said that he also wanted to give it especially all the shit going on in reality. Mm-hmm. He said they needed a hero, and a hero that actually made it. You know what I'm saying? And so he decided to change it. Plus, he also said that even though he set it up to be, like you said, Jeff, where Chris had his freedom, he had his mind back. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he was saying. He told Rod, yeah, you're chasing a dream. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to do all this extra stuff, though, but it don't matter. I stopped it. I had a little pushback to that. I usually don't do that when creators tell you what they've been with their art. I don't like to go against creators when it comes to their art. The only pushback I had to it, though, was the fact that there's still other, those couples, that group, you know what I'm saying? And who's to say that they didn't have somebody else who knew how to do that, work that technology, you know? And so that's why I was like, no.
There's a hint of that actually in the movie. If you think about it, because at one point when they're having the gathering, there's an Asian man there, and I was reading through Easter eggs and stuff online, and one of the reasons why there's an Asian man there, and if you also notice he has a different colored bingo card from everyone else, is the fact that first off, Jordan Peele is a huge fan of horror movies. He loves horror movies, and there are little winks and nods to things like The Shining, The Stepford Wives, and Rosemary's Baby throughout the entire movie, and others as well. And when he saw Rosemary's Baby, in that scene at the end when the cult is revealed, there's an Asian character there, and it's supposed to lead to the idea, at least in Rosemary's Baby, that this satanic cult is international, that, you know, there might be other sort of subsects of, is that the right word? Yes, I think. Of the cults, like, elsewhere. And so the idea in Get Out is that, you know, there might be an international chapter of this as well, per se. It leaves sort of that hint.
Yeah, and the name of the place, Coagula, that doesn't sound, you know, too American. I'm just saying, just like that just sounds like some ancient cult. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I might have mispronounced it though, but I know it had a funny ring to it, a funny sounding name to it. But what's that, Legionnaire?
Yeah, it had some really bizarre name. I was trying to recall it myself, but it's not coming to me right now.
Yeah, so I was like, and I know somebody else said, I read a whole totally different article saying that the Asian guy was there because it just goes to show you that Asian people don't think much of black people either. They think that they're the equals of white people and stuff like that. And I would love to hear the article I'll read the article that you read, Jeff. Because
I will send it to you. It was there. There are several articles out there that are just like Easter eggs of Get Out, and it was in one of the Easter eggs. Actually, I think in two of the Easter egg articles it mentioned the Asian character, because I hadn't noticed that his bingo card was different as well. So there's that.
Yeah. I have to go back and watch it for a fourth time.
I know, right? It's fantastic. So because this movie is so fresh and new, we all individually kind of experienced it together. So what I want to ask is, when the initial trailer dropped, I believe it had to have dropped like last fall at some point, what did you all think this movie was? Like, what was going in your mind? Because I'm sure, like, all of us, like, when we watch a trailer, we're like, oh, okay, that's kind of this. Okay, it looks like it's kind of going to be kind of like that. I know when I watched it, I was like, okay, this looks very much like the Stepford Wives, but, you know, instead of, you know, those getting victimized being women, you know, it's going to be a black man or black people that are getting sort of victimized in this Stepford Wives kind of way. That was the first thing that I thought of when I saw the very first trailer, and I was like, if it's that, if they just stick with that, then I'm fine with it. Like, I think it'll be an interesting story because I'm sure Jordan Peele will put his own twist on it. Obviously, it was more than just that, but there was still sort of like the essence of a Stepford Wives type of thing in it. And I really liked the twist that Jordan did. But what was everyone's sort of like initial take when you saw the trailer for the very first time?
I thought the same exact thing, Jeff. I was excited because I haven't seen the original Stepford Wives. I only saw a couple of the horrible sequels. But
you saw the Nicole Kidman?
I saw the first half of that one. I'm talking about the old one, the one that my mom said she saw, because I did see the last scene of the original one, because they were marathoning them on Lifetime of all places. You know what I'm saying? And so I think I missed the first one and went into the second one of the spinoffs or whatever. But I got the idea of what it was about. What I'm trying to say. Yeah. And it's still creepy because even with those women in the Stepford Wives movies, it was like they're taking it was the patriarchal white male taking away these women's voices and their souls just so they can appease them. And you apply it to black people, that elevates that to even more terror. Because I remember people when the trailer came out, it was like a meme. It turned to a meme. Like, I bet you can't make it through this trailer. Like, you got to watch this trailer. No, black folks, this is a movie that black folks would be too scared to go see. And I said, no, they need to go see this movie because we need more movies like this. Because I knew that it was going to be a game changer. I just knew it once I watched the trailer. I heard about the movie being filmed, and I'm not going to lie, I was kind of like Jordan Peele doing horror. I said, then again, I'm like, horror does have some comedic elements in it if it's done well. And so I was like, I kept hearing about it, but didn't see a trailer. And then when the trailer finally hit, I was like, oh yeah, Oh yeah, I cannot wait for this movie to fall. Or not to fall, but to drop in February.
You were hoping for the movie to fall?
No, Jeff. See, somebody
Oh,
take
okay.
this snippet and go run with it.
I'm telling Jordan Peele.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Don't do that because I'm trying to get him to follow me on Twitter. Don't do that.
Oh, okay, sounds
Oh.
Legionnaire, what about you?
I hadn't really seen it. I mean, I had heard about it, but I hadn't really seen any trailers or anything like that before the movie.
Oh, so you kind of went in fresh?
So I went in pretty fresh, other than having only the vaguest idea of what it was about. Because I had seen the memes, of course, that had popped up all over the place afterwards, but still didn't really give me, a whole lot of a clue of what the movie was about. So I went in pretty fresh, I think.
Okay. So let's talk a bit about the cast. Because I think they did a really great job casting the movie. Yes, we've got Daniel Kaluuya as Chris Washington, our protagonist. Allison Williams, yes, Brian Williams' daughter, as Rose Armitage. Bradley Whitford as Dean Armitage. Catherine Keener as Missy Armitage. And, we got to give a shout out to Betty Gabriel as Georgina.
Yes.
Yes, our girl, Erica Alexander.
Mm-hmm. Detective Latoya.
Hell yeah. And did anyone else stand out in the cast?
Lorel.
Yes. Lil Rel as Rod.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Lil Rel Howery as Rod Williams. And I thought the cast was on point. Like, I don't know how Betty did what she did, but she did the damn thing.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, as you're watching it the first time, like, you really don't know what's going on. But then rewatching it after knowing what's going on and to see her have to play two people was, like, brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'd seen it in the theater twice. And then, of course, when the Blu-ray came out, I was all over it.
Wow.
Again, so I started picking out and pointing out all kinds of fun things.
What did you all think of Daniel Kaluuya as the lead? I hadn't seen him in anything before, but I know he was featured in an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw him in an actual serious role. I first saw him in Skins. He played actually a character on the show. He was the only black. Well, actually, he wasn't. He was the character on the show called Posh Kenny, where he was very hood with the group, but then when he got around like adults, he started talking like very posh and like very, like proper and everything.
This is the UK version of Skins.
Yes, the UK version, the better version. He's also another horror movie that just dropped on Shudder about like online chat rooms or something like that. I forgot what the name of it is though, but
it's called Don't Enter the Chat.
That sounds bad, but that's not what it's called.
It's called The Chat Room.
I don't think it's called it either.
Oh, well, close enough.
But yeah, so I was mad though because when the Blu-ray came out, it came out on my birthday. And nobody thought to sit there and get that for me for my birthday. And I was a little pissed off.
And just an FYI, it's actually called Chat Room. So
it is called Chat Room?
Yes, you're welcome.
I didn't think it was, I thought it was something. Okay, I'm sorry. Shit.
No, it's okay. No, I was just guessing. But you can go and continue on bitching about people not buying it for you.
Yes, because that was a travesty. I say, okay, Get Out comes out on May 23rd. That's my birthday, and I would like to have the DVD or Blu-ray rather. And they're like, okay, well, don't worry, I'm gonna have your copy. I'm like,
nobody took the bait.
It is June 3rd, and I still never seen my copy of Get Out yet. And so I just said, okay, fuck, I'm gonna have to go buy it myself. So that's what I did. So, yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else in the cast like impress you a lot? Like, did anyone's character sort of stick with you?
Lakeith Stanfield from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was so good.
His opening scene gave me Drew Barrymore, Casey Becker realness. Even
I
though
know,
it
right?
wasn't as long, it wasn't as long, but it was just still creepy. Just the fact that he's
Mhm.
walking, it turned the script. If you get what I'm trying to say, because usually it's like neighborhood and like you if let's say like if black neighborhood, you always see some like lonely white person walking down there, always like clutching their purse. They're like holding on to themselves, walking through this bad neighborhood or this dark alley or this dark, forest or something like that. But it's like this black man walking down this well lit, very posh neighborhood.
You love the word posh tonight.
I do love it.
I'm gonna call you Posh Spice.
Okay, that's it. But think about it. You're walking down a nice neighborhood, and then you're a black man, and that's the biggest fear because it echoes so many elements of racial profiling. You're not supposed to be in this neighborhood, so he's worried about like a cop or somebody like calling the cops on him, and instead it's just like some random car comes and like takes him out. You know what I'm saying? And who's to say that hasn't happened before? So
Yeah.
and nobody's went looking for him. That's the even crazy part about it.
True.
That's true.
Oh, and then to see him later in the movie, how he went from playing Ned to playing the well-spoken Logan, and it was just I'm like people sleep on Lakeith Stanfield. I cannot wait for his next movie to come out, but he's a great actor.
Yeah, I give him props. That was really good. Let's talk about Chris and Rose, because at the start of the movie we're introduced to both. I will give her props. She bought like some like dope ass like donuts. I'm just saying, like the one of the freaking first shots of the movie, like after the opening, with Redbone playing in the background. Fantastic. But she's in a freaking donut shop, and it looks like it's like artisanal donuts. It's not like, no offense to like the Dunkins and the Krispies, but it looks like it's like like I don't know. I wanted a donut so bad. I'm just saying.
It looked like the good donuts.
Yeah. No one else likes the donuts. Fine. The Legionnaire and I will eat them all.
That's okay.
So let's talk about them. What did you all think of them in the beginning?
Well, she was very, she was very much the liberal white girl that was dating the black guy, and didn't tell her parents that her boyfriend was black because it just didn't occur to her to mention it, and it was all like, okay, girl, really? You about to roll this man out into the country, and
Guess who?
they don't know.
Basically.
So of course I was all guess who's coming to dinner, guess who, all that stuff came to mind naturally.
Yeah. All they needed was Bernie Mac and Sidney Poitier.
Right.
Did you all notice anything suspicious when they get stopped by the police?
No, and I'm so glad you brought up this scene because I had an argument with a friend of mine.
In retrospect, I did.
Oh, you did. You noticed it the first time.
I did. I didn't notice it the first time, but when I watched it again, there were things that occurred to me.
You're like, I see what you're doing there, bitch.
There was a couple of things that occurred to me. Because if you stop and think, because they had to disappear this guy, when he asked Chris for his license, she stepped right up and gave him hers. And but if you think about it, she couldn't let the officer take his license because he would have ran both of their licenses, and he would have had a record of them being together. So she couldn't have that.
Thank you. And initially I didn't get that, Legionnaire, but a mutual friend of ours, we got into a debate about because they are dead set that the cop was in on. I said he wasn't because that's the case then that he could have easily pinpointed where Chris was if Rayo had sat there, and actually, ran the numbers or something like that. So they cop. Yeah. But initially I was like, okay, go ahead, girl, with your, protecting your man. But looking back in, it's like, it makes sense now because if he'd ran them, but it is telling that the cop let it slide. You know what I'm saying? Because she called him out on his bullshit. But I think Chris, because Chris probably looking back like, yeah, I kind of wish he'd hit a random damn licenses or something like that. But at that point in time, I mean, I didn't catch it. I mean, initially because I honestly, God thought until that moment where the twist happens, where I thought that she was really not involved. Even though I saw the pictures and I said, well, maybe who's to sit there and say her mom's a hypnotist? So how do we not know that she didn't sit there and do something to her daughter too?
Exactly.
Like, they not. But I
you're
can say
rooting
like
for her.
I mean, because Allison Williams she played that role.
You're like, this is Brian Williams' daughter. Like, I trust her.
Brian Williams, the anchor.
Yes, that's his daughter.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. Okay, learn something new every day. But no, because I was just like, one of the reasons why, because I needed somebody in Chris's corner.
Yeah, you were like, I believe in their love.
Not just the love, it's just that, hell, if Georgina had snapped out of it, I'd have been like, okay, we need to sit there and make sure she said, okay, because I just needed somebody in Chris's corner. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but it's just that you surrounded by fuckery. Right. And you have nobody in your corner. How can you possibly get out of this situation?
Exactly.
So that's why I was rooting for her to be actually legit. But it makes sense now. I cannot stand when somebody white tells me how mad I am, how mad I'm supposed to be as a black person. That irks the hell out of me. And because that it's like sometimes, because even when she kept on going with it when during like her brother, she was up there brushing her teeth, and Chris was in bed like, because he was so chill. He was so chill, and she was like, well, this, and this, and this, and this. And he was like, yo, just chill out. Your parents.
Right. It's like, girl, it's fine. We here. We're gonna deal with it. We're gonna work through it. It's fine.
You're overdoing it, and you need to chill the fuck out right now. Because to me, it seems like, because again, you want me to be this mad, and then when shit does pop off, who's gonna be the one to go to jail? Me.
Right. Exactly.
So that's why I just tell some of like my white friends on Twitter and Facebook of ones I grew up with, I understand y'all mad, but don't be like, Mark, what do you think about this? Just because I'm black, don't necessarily mean I'm upset, I'm angry, but I'm not going to get belligerent to sit there and appease your anger. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing, so that's how I feel about this. So yeah, I did get a little bit annoyed, but I was like, she's probably nervous. And I was still like, please be legit, because this man needs somebody in his corner, because Rail's all the way across the country, and so yeah.
And she did buy the donuts. Those donuts look so fucking good, and they were so fucking big. Like, I can't. Anyway, we'll talk about the parents in a moment. Let's first talk about Chris meeting Georgina and Walter. So, taking your mind, like, back in time, like, as you're watching this the very first time, like, what did you all think was going on? Especially with those two.
I thought they had their souls wiped or something. I mean, if I had been Chris and I walked, as soon as I drove past Walter, I'm like, okay, he looks kind of off. And that wasn't going to be like a race thing, because technically I know so many people around here who get like mentally disabled people to do their yard work for them. So I probably wouldn't have flinched at that. But when I walked to the kitchen and saw Georgina looking all Betty Crocker-esque and like she just stepped out of the 1960s maid catalog or something like that, I would have started like probably freaking out then.
Right. Because it was
just the fact.
Because it's one of those things where it's like, okay, there's something odd here, but you can't put your finger on it. You just know that it's odd. It's like, okay, what's going on with these people?
And I felt like they shot themselves. The Armitage family shot themselves in the foot. It's kind of, they had got to the point where they became, what's the word I'm looking for? Bold, for lack of a better word. Bold, because that was the grandmother and the grandfather. It's like, okay, you don't want. First of all, they underestimated. I think they underestimated black people, or just Chris or just black people in general, excuse me, because we can put it's like they wanted to get caught. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that kind of irks me because I'm like, y'all could have had them go somewhere like grandma and grandpa, y'all go do something somewhere else because y'all are very off-putting. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh.
Anybody.
Right,
Well, I think they
clearly
wanted to keep their eye on them, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I think that's part of it too, because it was like, you know, you all are clearly
Y'all are like the prototypes.
Yeah, and you all are not going to play your role well, but you know, we still need to watch you.
Yeah, and on top of well, I can see that. I would concede to that. I guess it's just the fact that y'all, and it goes back to the whole white privilege. I don't want to say white privilege, but just white privilege because they didn't sit there and look at it as like this is off-putting. Because all they saw was the black people's bodies. That's all they saw was their bodies. They didn't sit there and just take account for their souls. And I'm not saying they had to be like, when they met him, like, oh, give me dap or anything like that. Just the fact that they look soulless. And I think it was a picture that they made, somebody drew, a painting rather, when the movie first came out of Georgina just looking just black and soulless. That is creepy. It is so creepy because I don't know. It's just that's a symbolic image. It's to see that this woman is holding this teacup or this jar, this pitcher, and it's just looking completely soulless. It looks like a symbol of defeat. You know what I'm saying? And so, but yeah, it irked me because I'm thinking like either y'all could have just told them, just held them off a little bit, or just got him comfortable enough to the point where he's been like, you know, okay, I guess. But at the same time, I'm glad they were there to give Chris something to like take note of, and the fact that they gave him the skill or or Jordan Peele gave him the career of being a photographer. He sees things that other people don't see.
It's a callback to the Stepford Wives. In the Stepford Wives, she was a photographer too.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know. Okay.
Yes. There's a reason for everything.
Thank you. I need to watch the commentary though. I was gonna watch the commentary track when we get through doing the podcast because I would love to see the commentary track.
There you go. And Georgina was a fighter because her real persona kept on fighting through and kept on trying to warn Chris. And unfortunately, it came off that she was like disturbed or something like that. Like he never fully caught on in the beginning like what Georgina was trying to do, because Georgina really was trying to help in certain points.
And a part of me feels that they were like recently transplanted. You know what I'm saying?
You know, it might be because black is in, so maybe they were a different color, or different race before, maybe.
It's creepy to think that they can just sit there and just use, but it's just like, because you have to ask yourself, and I know I'm probably getting ahead of ourselves, all those pictures, those guys, like, where did they go? You know what I'm saying? Like, where are they? Like, were they failed experiments? And was Georgina, Walter, and Logan, or Dre rather, were they
the actual success stories?
Exactly. She was a fighter, and even Walter. Actually, it wasn't. No, Walter wasn't, because when he started to smoke outside, and Walter started running towards him, that was Grandpa.
Yeah, because the whole
Grandpa,
Jesse Owens thing.
Yeah, that was Grandpa.
Yeah, that wasn't like Walter saying like, you know, I'm finna try to scare you off. No, that was Grandpa saying that, don't you smoke on my property. You know what I'm saying? And so,
and I love that moment because we don't know what's going on, like the very first time you watch it. But when Missy accidentally clicks the glass, and like Georgina goes into the sunken place, but we don't know that's what's going on. Like that was a good moment, like foreshadowing what was to come.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's talk about Missy and Chris. So Missy is a hypnotherapist, and Chris smokes. And so Missy, you know, out of the kindness in her heart, is like, let me help you quit smoking, basically.
Yeah. I was like, don't do it. Nope.
So let's talk about Chris getting hypnotized and the sunken place.
That was creepy. Because he just sat down. She started talking to him, and a part of me feels like when I went back and watched, like, did he drink anything? Did she put anything in his, to like get him to actually fall into that trap, or is it just the fact that she can actually sit there and just by talking, which is scary? You know what I'm saying? So
she's good at her job.
Apparently. I don't want to talk to ass in real life. I saw that ass in real life. Like, girl, don't talk to me. Don't even shake my hand.
But when you stop and look back at it, maybe that's why they wanted him to quit smoking. Take care of that body.
Oh, of course. Oh, of course. Because the black body is precious, but is it really precious?
Like, why are you poisoning our body?
We need you prime and ready. Ugh, the movie unnerves me, y'all. I gotta excuse me. That's why it's even in the second or third viewing, I'm still unnerved by it. It's just, and I try not to watch it ad nauseum like some people do to study it and everything, because I don't want to take away the allure of the movie.
Right.
But the sunken place, I do know that a lot of people took sunken place to mean that, they took it and ran with it for pop culture references and stuff like that, saying like, oh, you stuck in the sunken place because you are sympathetic to the white cause, or you are, Uncle Tom or something like that. And Jordan Peele recently said in a class that's taught by famed African-American horror novelist Tananarive Due, where pretty much he said that the sunken place was like a representation of being trapped, like I forgot the exact words he said, but I know it was something where it was not that what people are making it out to be, when they just sit there and just say, oh, let me take a picture of you because you're in the sunken place. It was way deeper than that, so, and I wish I could find it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to find the quote if somebody else wants to, because this happened recently, this talk.
Yeah, because one of the things he also said was that the sunken place was symbolizing the marginalization of people of color. So no matter how hard, we scream, no matter how much we try to cry out, the system silences us. That's
exactly what it was. That's what I was trying to get to, Legionnaire. Thank you. That's exactly what you said.
I like it. Teamwork makes the dream work.
It does.
I like it. Let's talk about the Armitages get together. So that's where we meet Logan, and he's dating a much older white woman. All these couples, these white couples are around. Everyone seems really interested in Chris. Is it true what they say? And all that kind of stuff. And this is when Chris ends up snapping a picture of Logan to send to his friend, Rod. And things go crazy because the flash causes Logan to snap out of what ended up happening to him, and he yells at Chris to get out. Would you have gotten out?
Yeah, I think it would have been time to go.
I would have so been like, let's get them keys and go right now. We have to go. I can't even, bother with this. I just need to go because clearly this fool, because he went from being, posh and, just chapper little,
very Victoria Beckham.
Exactly. And went to
Scary Spice. He went from Posh Spice to Scary Spice.
He went to being equivocally woke. Get out. He said, get the... And it's funny because when I couldn't exactly hear what he said to him went during the theater because folks started laughing or like started screaming and stuff. But he said, get the fuck out of here, man. I'm like, that was the soul coming back and saying like, look, you got to get up out of here, man. And it just seemed like, you said get out, but it's like, can you take me with you?
Right.
like, get me out of here, man. They trying to kill. I was just saying something to get out, but I guess it was like the person fighting control with him, why he couldn't get certain words out and stuff like that. All he could sit there and say was "get out, get the fuck out," and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
it was
explained
definitely
away.
bizarre.
Yeah, it was really bizarre, and it's explained away very easily. Oh, he just had a seizure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to appease Chris. But everybody else there knew like, the procedure's not.
It's glitching.
It's glitching. Which if I hate to sit there and equate myself to. I don't want to sit there and sympathize with people at all. But
Oh, you're trying to find some
um,
love for the Armitages.
hell no. I'm talking about the people who have to sit there and pay for that service. Now, if
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sitting there, the buyers, because I'm sitting like,
You're like, I better get a discount.
see what I'm saying? Like, because he,
Wait a
he
minute, this
glitched.
ain't perfect.
Yeah, exactly. He glitching. Like, you said this one, 'cause I can't have him in public. Because think about it. Like, are you not going to, but then again, I guess some of these people don't go to public events, which is kind of crazy. Can you think about, like, now, y'all seem like y'all the type of the ladies who lunch and, like, y'all might want to go on vacation somewhere. So what y'all going to do is just get in good lighting and take a picture after snap or something like that? What's somebody to ask for your picture in for a magazine or something like that? They snap your photo. They will have to use a flash. So it's like y'all need to get that taken care of, like for real, for real.
Hashtag no
But
filter.
no.
Mm,
So that's
right.
why I think it goes back to my whole point. That I think the Armitages were a little too bold, and they didn't realize that their product was not as perfect as they made it seem to be. Even though for a black person, what they were doing is just scary enough to sit there and probably, want to run out the woods screaming bloody murder. But,
Okay. So, let's head on over to the slave auction. I mean, let's play bingo.
no, you said it right the first time.
I know, right?
That's what it was.
That scene was so disturbing. They got a picture of Chris, and they're bidding.
Right. Exactly. And it was ingenious because it certainly took you in one direction, and still you still don't know what's really going on. Because
Exactly.
because even there, it's like it's taking you someplace where you just don't expect it once you get the real story. So I thought it was genius. I thought it was really genius how that played out.
Yeah, because even at that point in the movie, we still don't know that it's the people basically getting their brain placed into this new host. We're still sort of
Right.
thinking like, okay, so is this some sort of form of slavery in like
Right.
a physical sense? Like, are they turning all of the black people that they run into like docile, yes ma'am,
Mhm.
yes like people? Is
Right.
that what's going on? So it's already creepy in and of itself, but like after you know what's going on, like the creep factor like ratchets up to like extreme.
Absolutely.
And I thought it was kind of telling that the one person who was not there for the bullshit was the blind man, the blind art dealer, and for him to be the one to win, quote unquote, Chris. What at that point in time, what is he winning Chris for? Is he getting? Because another thing, again, I was just, and it's probably telling of me personally. I thought the man was going to sit there because he was the only one who noticed that everybody there was just saying the most dumbass bullshit about like, so is it true down there? Black is saying.
Mhm.
What
Right.
is the how does it feel to be a black man, an African American in America, and it's an advantage or it's a disadvantage, And he was like, I'm
Right.
not here for all of that bullshit, and he kind of
Right.
kept up with it to the end. You know what I'm saying? So
He wanted to know
Yeah,
if it
I
was
thought it was-
real down there.
Yeah.
he was
I
fine.
thought it was interesting. I thought it was
Good.
interesting how all the other, because all throughout the party, people are like asking him all these really, underlying offensive questions, finding out about him, all because of his race. But then by the time he starts having a conversation with the blind guy, he's actually doing the same thing, but his questions don't have anything to do with race. He's just trying to find out about Chris's eye. even though he's doing basically the same thing everybody else is doing and trying to find out about this, this new prize that they could win, he was coming at it from a totally different direction. So in the audience is kind of thrown off guard a little bit. So, cause he's not coming off as assholey as all the other white folks at the party.
Yeah. Mark, you were rooting for him. Legionnaire wasn't.
What? No, I mean, I wasn't.
Like,
Go ahead.
No, because they were clearly admiring the fact that he was black, but
exactly.
he was admiring the fact that he was an artist.
Exactly. And he could see.
Well, not just that he could see, but because he was aware of him being a photographer, and he wanted to have that eye. I mean, he, beyond just being able to see again, he wanted to be able to have that appreciation and that skill that he has as a photographer. So it changed a little bit when he started asking questions, and so that way he's not coming off even as menacing as the other folks at the party.
Yes, that's the thing. It was a red herring because I was expecting, again, gullible Mark. I was expecting for him to quote unquote win Chris, and then when everything went to hell, he was gonna be the one to actually sit there and probably save him and whatever.
He comes out. I'm not blind.
But again, that's how they pushed. That's how they pushed it, and I would have thought, and I kind of thought the same thing.
Yeah.
He would have won the auction, and it's like, okay, yeah, I see what's really happening, but this is the only way that I'm really going to be able to help you is by winning this auction, and then when things really go to hell, then I can be the one that can figure out how to set you free, even though I'm blind.
Y'all thought he was
that didn't happen.
Y'all thought he was the Bette Midler in the Stepford Wives remake.
I didn't think that.
I still didn't see that remake all the way through, so I thought she was the first person to get her ass zapped. But anyway.
She did get zapped at one point, yeah.
Okay, well, I just knew that it was just how they even did it, because you had to sit there again. Every time I watch the movie and I sit there and think about it, I have to sit there and think, now, how did y'all pull this shit off previously? Because what if Chris was like, they were like, we're going to do this thing right here. And Chris was like, okay, I guess I'll stand here and get shots of this. Oh, well, no, you go and do this and that. Well, no. How do we get him away from the damn auction? You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
right.
They were so bold. And the smug look on all their faces when they were doing especially Bradley Whitford's face. It's just like, I just wanted to punch him. It was like, because you did this, and then the son, they were just the two, and the all three of Jeremy and all, they were just so smug and like, yeah, we can get away with anything, and that it just exasperated the whole issue with a certain population of certain people, the white population, like they can get away with anything, and so go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, because for the most part, I mean, after 3 attempts, they had.
Yeah, they never met Annalise Keating.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think Annalise probably even sat there. She was like, I don't know y'all like that. I'm not going to come to y'all's house, you know what I'm saying?
She would have, it would be that gif of her picking up the purse and getting out the chair.
She'd have been like, okay, this bitch look crazy. Let me get my ass back on my damn, I can get myself back. And she knew Allison knew who to, well, not Allison, but Rose knew who to pick, because it seemed like none of them, she drove him out there. Trust to believe, I'd have been a hard sale, because I'm like, no, let me drive my car out there. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not sitting to let you drive me, but all he had was the state ID. He purposely said, I have a state ID. I don't have a license, but I have a state ID, which is let everybody know that he was not licensed to drive. He could drive, but he didn't have the L's to have his own vehicle and stuff like that, which means that he was already pre-fucked. So that's why he was relying on her to get the keys, and that's I'm sorry, getting ahead of myself, but that whole scene of them auctioning him off and being silent, it was really a silent auction, a really warped silent auction, and it just seemed like weird. And it was weird. And she was out there with him, keeping him away from the place. And it just seemed like by the time they made it back, it was convenient. And you had that one white guy like, nice to meet you, Chris. And I'm like, dude, should have get the car. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then to see if I would have been Chris, walking back up to the house and seeing Georgina and Walter the way they were looking, that would have took me all the way out. I'm like, Rose, I love you, but we need to get a hotel tonight 'cause I cannot stay in this house one more day with these people, especially after Georgina had that whole, talk with him, and then talking to
Right.
Walter there in the morning, like, we need to stay in a hotel tonight, like, for real. Like, go get your car. And she was like, okay, let's, well, she was like, okay, I think I'm gonna my keys. I'm like, that's not an Uber out here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
So let's talk about the plan starting to unravel, because Logan is identified by Rod as a missing person by the name of Andre. Then Chris ends up finding evidence that Rose had been in relationships with other black people. He wasn't her first, and those other black people include Andre, Walter, and Georgina.
Right.
And
This
you were
scene-
rooting for Rose,
Okay.
Mark.
Well, up until that point, that's when everything started to get a little wonky, and that's went from
Not
being
even
like,
the donuts could save her?
No, because I honestly, God, thought that one or two things happened. I said, okay, because the thing when I watched the movie, that particular scene that bothered me was who opened up that closet for him to find those pictures. Again, this goes back to the whole, they are just too smug about what they're doing. I know they're trying to play with him, but they play with his, like, mentally screw with him, but it's like, don't do that, because what if somebody comes up there and they are ready for whatever goes down? You know what I'm saying? And y'all, because y'all were just so sure, because somebody could have came in there and killed all of y'all, and they probably didn't know that there was something mess was going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I kind of feel like it goes back to the whole thing about Georgina being the strongest. I felt like she probably opened up that door to give him a clue about what's going on. And the fact that let me go back a little bit further. The fact that Rayo called back immediately, was like, yeah, that's Dre. I'm like, now that's the person you have at your side, because he was aware of everything. And again, that's the whole thing. Like, what happens if you find somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody? You know what I'm saying? And y'all, it just, y'all's plan's gonna unravel soon. And I know y'all was trying to, like, because she was sloppy, but the reason why I was
Yes.
she was very sloppy, because the reason why I was still rooting for her though was because I honestly, God, thought that she was
Hypnotized.
hypnotized too. There's a deleted scene where she said her mom hypnotized her when she was a young kid. So
You will love the black dick and the black pussy.
she put the fear of Kris Jenner in her daughter. Look, Missy was like, I'm telling you, look, Missy was Kris Jenner. That's who she was. Missy
Yeah.
was Kris Jenner and told Rose, like, look, you got to
Rose
study
was
the Kardashians.
Caitlyn.
Really?
No, I'm
You think she's-
teasing.
Okay, because I'm like, no. Rose was Kim. She was Kim or Chloe. one of
You
the
better
two,
go.
because-
You better go make that sex tape.
Yeah, because who was it? Courtney, the one who, I don't know. I don't keep with the Kardashians. All I'm trying to say is,
You know
Is
more
that-
than I thought.
what?
You're naming names like you know them.
My mom watches Kardashians. That's
Oh, okay.
That's why I was about to ask y'all. Okay, that's why I was about to ask y'all if y'all knew who was who, because I know one of them married Scott, the guy who's an
I think
asshole.
that's Courtney.
Okay, so I had it right the first time. Rose is Kim or Chloe. That's who she is.
Oh,
And so
okay.
she knew who to pull with the, the good. And
Wait, so Rose's father is OJ?
yeah, the black D. Hell, who's to sit there? I don't know. Let me stop. But the bottom line is, I thought that Rose was going to be, I won't say possessed. I mean, she's going to be hypnotized, and that she was going to be, but as you see at the end of the movie, that no, she's fully aware,
And
what's
she's
going
fully batshit.
fully crazy. But you got to ask yourself though, has she always been like that? Because you didn't see any inkling of Jeremy bringing home anybody black. You know what I'm saying? It was all on Rose. And I guess that says something about how
Who would want Jeremy?
true.
I mean,
I get
let's be
that.
honest.
I'll give you that. But it's like but it just seemed like, but I guess they could have cast anybody in their role. They cast Caleb Landry Jones, which is kind of like telling. They Rose is like she represents the true snow bunny, and I'm saying it.
Oh, look at you knowing kinky terms.
I'm just saying she's a snow bunny. Like, everybody's like she's like the quintessential white girl that some black men would go for. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what Jordan Peele was trying to get at. It was like, yeah, we could have had the son bring home somebody black, though, but like you said, like a white man dating a black woman is not as, it's not
Taboo.
the fear. It's not as taboo as the black man dating a white girl.
It's so sad that in 2017 it's still taboo.
It is. I mean, there was a meme flying around saying, like, this is what happens when black penis gets inside your white girls.
I know, it destroys it.
It destroys it.
It destroys your vagine.
Destroys the vagine.
And it was like, you had to sit to decide, okay, was this made as a joke, or was this being like, was somebody really serious about this graphic? I don't know. I don't want to say I was gullible. I just feel like I wanted somebody to be in his corner at that point in time, because his phone was dead. Rail is nowhere to be found in terms of, like, he didn't know where Chris was, and I'm like, how you not give this man an address to where you going? But he was blind on his
trust
on Rose, on his trust of Rose. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But when that phone still had some juice, I'd have been texting him like, yeah, I'm at this location. So I mean, they have to be registered somewhere. So if I go anywhere, somebody's gonna have an address of where I'm at. I don't care if it's me going to Atlanta, me going to Nashville, me going to New Orleans, Mexico, anywhere. I'm gonna give you an address to where I'm at, so if something pops off, where to come find me. So that's why I was like, he has no help at this point in time, which goes into something that happens later in the movie, though. But it's like, at that point in time, I was like, I need somebody in his corner at this location as of right now.
Legionnaire, Detective Latoya, go.
Detective Latoya, she gave me everything. I loved her. And a piece of trivia, her last name in the script was Peel.
Really?
Oh.
Yep.
I would have thought Jackson.
So I was like, oh, all right, come on through, Maxine Shaw. Oh, but that whole scene where she was listening to his story and just humoring him was just, it was hilarious. It was comedy gold. So she still got it. Even when she brought in the other two detectives and let them hear the story, and she's like, "See, don't ever tell me that I didn't do nothing for y'all. I'll let y'all listen to this crazy shit."
I was probably one of the few people who it was funny, but at that point in time, I was like, no, I need y'all to really, really, really listen to what this man is saying, because I guess I got too caught up into the horror element of the movie, and we just needed a big laugh moment. And I'd sit there, because I'm not gonna lie, after watching it again last night, I'm like, I want to fast forward through that whole entire scene because it irked me. When I first saw the movie, I was irked. I was like, yeah, it's crazy, but don't laugh him out, because I said at that point in time, he has no help. He has no backup. But I was glad to see Erica Alexander doing something else, and that Jordan Peele either gave her this shot or gave her the scene. And I like the line she said. He's like, yes, ma'am. He said, oh, don't you say it. She said it so smooth. Don't call me ma'am, or we're not going to get along. She said, so how can I help you? She just said it so quick. Just do that real quick, like, don't call me ma'am, or we're not going to get along. So, yeah, I loved it. I loved it after the fact. But after first seeing the movie, I'm like, yo, fuck all three of y'all.
The first time it's like, okay, look, he needs some help. Y'all need to be taking this seriously. And in the moment of the movie, it was pretty annoying that they were not taking them seriously. But it was, like I said, but like you said, it was definitely good to see her in yet another role. I mean, I definitely had seen her on a few things here and there. So that was a nice surprise to have her pop up.
Was she on Queen Sugar recently too?
She was on Queen Sugar. Mm-hmm. She was Hollywood's ex-wife.
Okay, I know she was in there. I'm like, oh, look at Erica. two big roles in 1 year. I'm like, I'm happy for her because I miss her. I miss her face on TV. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all we need now is that rumored Living Single continuation.
They need to do that. I swear to God, because I get tired of seeing TK. What's his name?
Carson?
Carson.
Oh, T.C. Carlson?
Yeah, doing commercials and stuff. Like, nobody knows who the hell he is.
Oh, we don't get those down here.
Oh, I saw it was a national ad for a Christmas ad where he was one of the carolers for J.C. Penney's or Macy's or something like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's TK Carlson. How y'all?
Right. I was like, come on, brother. Surely there's more work out for you than that.
And he's a good actor. I just was so
Right. Exactly. That's why I was
like,
a little disappointing.
and also I'm not gonna get into that, but I just see. But it's glad to see her on screen, and hopefully this Jordan Peele keeps her in mind for other projects and stuff.
So we end up finding out the twist. It's basically Stepford Wives with the twist. We sort of discussed it already a little bit. But basically what they're doing is they are... Basically, the white people end up becoming a parasite. The white people's brains end up becoming a parasite into the black people's bodies. A large chunk of their brain is transplanted into the bodies of younger black people, older white people into younger black people. And there's like a teeny tiny bit of the original host's brain left that is doomed to be in the sunken place. And so Chris ends up, getting prepped for surgery. The blind art dealer ends up winning the bid, and Chris is getting like all of this hypno stuff on the screen and commands and that kind of stuff that are supposed to basically render him unconscious, but he ends up picking the cotton from the chair and stuffing it in his ears, and that allows him to sort of like dull out the command so he doesn't fall, basically.
The whole got that symbolism.
I know the symbolism. Exactly. I was about to say that.
Exactly. Picking cotton.
Exactly.
Okay. Stay woke.
Baby creep. And then the amazing stuff happens because Jeremy ends up sauntering in to take him to surgery, but Jeremy ain't gonna saunter no more. And I know, Mark, that you wanted him to have backup, but Chris don't need no backup.
Apparently,
he does.
Like,
he watches Agent Carter, because Agent Carter, Peggy Carter, will grab anything that's in the room and use it as a weapon, and that's what Chris basically does. What was it? The deer. It was a deer, right? Yeah, the deer. Ram it through the papa. I mean, it was fantastic. It was amazing. He ends up in the whole, melee, like killing Jeremy, Dean, and Missy. And while he's driving away, he ends up hitting Georgina. And why does he have to be a nice person?
Because because that's what Jordan Peele also said in the deleted scene, deleted after the ending.
His mother was the victim of hit and run.
Exactly.
Yes. No, but he also has empathy. I forgot to mention this when we were discussing when the police stopped them. But Chris goes, and when he looks at the deer, like you could see him empathizing with the deer, and Rose didn't.
Right. And they said that was very purposeful.
Yes.
To show her lack of empathy.
But would you say that's not also the fact that somebody being, because that's how it's.
Oh my God! Are you really wishing that Rose was hypnotized?
What?
You feel for that white girl?
No, I was talking about his mother. You talking about the deer.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you were
I said,
talking
that's
about
goes to
Rose.
how his mother, was laid out. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
She was killed and she was left like a deer on the side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably where this empathy came from.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Now I see you correlating with the mother and the deer. Okay.
Yeah, because nobody cares about deer. They hit a deer. You drive down.
Oh no, you're a
you go-
Rose. You don't care?
Oh my God, Legionnaire, just go ahead.
Rose
Just go
doesn't care about the deer. I'm just saying.
I'm
She
saying
didn't,
that
she didn't
people
care about
are-
the deer.
No, nobody
I'm
cares
sorry.
about the deer. I'm just saying that's
No.
how people treat deer when they get hit. It's like, okay, oh my God, I hit a deer. I'm going to keep trucking. Now, around here, it's a law against it. You have to call it in.
Right.
But which is what they did when the deer got hit. They called it in. But it's really a guy like somebody threw that deer in front of their goddamn car. But it
It was Rose.
she got some super damn powers. Then hell, she can drive a car and throw a deer at the same time.
Yes.
Well, but I just felt like that's the reason why he stopped for Georgina, because it was like a recurrence of what happened.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, but still.
yeah, I mean, because she was a lost cause at that point. And when
Yeah.
bitch came to, and she was like, "You've messed up my hair." I'm like,
Oh, I forgot to mention this when
No,
we were
dude.
talking about it. Did you all notice that Walter never took his hat off?
Mhm.
and
And Georgina-
Logan.
Georgina kept on, Logan as well, and Georgina kept on fixing her hair, probably to hide the lobotomy scars, or whatever you want to call it, the brain surgery scars.
Did y'all see him at the end? Because you can clearly see him at the end of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I was like, girl. At that point in time, like, yo, Georgina, bye. We tried to help you. You tried to you whatever piece of you that was still left. I'm sorry, it's not enough. Like Jeff said, Chris don't need nobody to save him but it's kind of gets to the point where when you push a black man in the cage like that, he's going to fight back. You know what I'm saying? And that became a moment of survival. But he sat there and put that cotton in his ear. Next thing he did, it's kind of like a video game to a certain extent. It was like he looked at the cotton, he put in his ear, he took out Jeremy, he looked at the deer, the masthead on the wall, he used that as a weapon to take out, I forget his name, Mitch or something like that.
Dean.
Then he went up, Dean, whatever that fool name is. Then he went upstairs. He noticed the cup. Actually, Missy was sitting. One of Missy, Georgina was standing there. He didn't do nothing to her. But then he went saw Missy, and he went straight for the cup, because anybody else probably tried to went for her. She probably could have picked up the cup and went tap, and he'd been done.
I know, right?
And so, because nobody else would have thought about that, he was like, "No, it's that cup. I'm gonna throw this cup away." And I'm finna mess. And then she took the letterhead, and he was burning on pure adrenaline. Then she stabbed him in his hand. He did not flinch.
Mm-mm.
He didn't flinch. He didn't yell. He just sat there and shoved his hand further in the thing, like, I'm finna stab you with this thing myself, because y'all have went. It just was awesome how he got out of there.
You
And
done
then-
mess with the wrong bitch.
Exactly.
y'all up here doing the most. Mm-mm.
Doing the most, and I'm finna give y'all the most. How about
No, you
that?
know who was doing the most? Georgina in the car.
Yeah, but she's talking about, you messed up my hair. I'm like, are you serious?
No, she said he messed up her house.
Her house. Oh, I thought
Yeah.
she said hair. I thought, I'm like,
You messed up my hair.
because she kept playing with her hair throughout the entire movie. You
Well,
know
no,
what I'm
that's because
saying?
she kept
So-
on hiding the scar. Making
Oh,
sure the
okay.
scar wasn't visible.
But no, because remember, by that time, the house was on fire.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, because that is the grandparents' house. They built the house from scratch up.
You
And-
messed up my house. I want.
And I forgot all about, we forget to talk about Rose in Terminator mode. Well, what was it? What's the Terminator for Terminator 3? See, the Christina Locken Terminator. What was
Oh,
it?
yeah, she was good.
went complete stoic. Like, I'm like,
Mhm.
and she was. And so when Rail sat there, was like, this bitch is lying. I'm finna get here. I'm finna record her ass. And how she flipped the script real quick. I was like, this bitch. And then this heifer had the audacity upstairs watching. I forgot what she was searching for NCAA prospects, drinking milk and eating Fruit Loops while
Because you
listening
can't
to her
have,
soundtrack.
because you can't have the white mixing in with the coloreds.
Oh, I'm so sick of you, Jeff. That was awesome.
That was one of the Easter eggs that I read.
Really?
Yeah, you
Oh
can't
my
have,
God.
you can't mix them.
Oh my God.
And there was
Mind
also
blown.
then there's also another little connection. You notice how Missy used her silver spoon to control the black folks, symbol of
Oh.
white privilege.
Oh, mind blown, mind blown, mind blown, mind blown. I caught myself reading up on Get Out, but I swear to God, just send me all the shit that you bring.
Stay woke.
I told you, I watched this movie. I'm telling you, after I got the DVD, we had like viewings at home. I watched it on my own at home. I was like, that movie gave me everything.
I call myself, because see the thing, I try not to watch it over and over again because a friend of mine once said something great. He said his favorite movie, he never watches over and over again. He watches it like whenever he needs to watch it because he said it screws up the enjoyment factor for him. And I'm like, you know what? I never thought of that because certain movies I used to watch over and over again as a kid, I don't watch it fully as an adult. I might get to like the middle of it and cut it off, but I don't sit there and watch it again. But I noticed that movies that intrigue me as an adult, I watch them every blue moon. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's interesting. But the fact that she was looking up NCAA prospects, listening to the Dirty Dancing soundtrack, everybody in the theater was cackling, howling. Man.
There's another Easter egg. One of the images is Keegan-Michael Key.
Yeah, and I'm like, he's too damn old to be a damn NCAA.
Well, he, Peele wanted to like put Key in, because Key and
Is that
Peele,
gonna be
that
his
kind of thing.
Alfred Hitchcock like thing? Like he gonna keep putting Key into L?
No, his Alfred Hitchcock thing was he was the voice of the United Negro College Fund.
Right.
What?
A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
That was Peele doing his Morgan Freeman impression from
Wait, where was
Mad
it from?
TV.
Where was it at? Was that when Red was watching TV or something?
I think it was when Rel was watching TV. I think you could hear it, but
Yeah.
wasn't it also it was when Rel was watching TV. I'm trying to remember what was no, because what was shown on the TV to Chris was the grandfather talking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was when Rel had the TV on and you could hear it in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't pay attention to that, to be honest with you. But okay, okay. Y'all make me feel bad right now, but okay.
Oh, and Peele was the sound of the deer, the noise that the deer makes when they crash into it.
Oh,
Oof.
okay.
Yeah, that's one I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go watch this commentary and read this damn article. Y'all make me feel all types of inconfabulated right now. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So
Okay.
let's talk about the ending, because the ending is a happy one. So you mentioned her. Rose gets all Terminator 3000 or whatever the hell it was, and it looks like she's ready to take out Chris. Like they're fighting each other and everything, and then all of a sudden the police arrives, and Rose does her whole, I'm attacked. It's a scary black man. Help me, please. And it's fucking. His name is not Rel in the movie.
It's
Why'd you
Rod.
call him Rod?
Rod,
You said Rod.
because you
I'm sorry.
keep on calling him Rel.
Well, you should have said Mark. His name is Rod.
I know.
You sat there and let them continue on. Oh my God.
Yes. So, it's Rod that arrives, and the bitch gets taken out.
She actually dies on her own.
Hmm?
She actually dies on her own. He don't do it. She just sat there and dies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the reason why I love this movie so much is because it shows you that black people don't have to be, rather, tropes in horror movies. They are very resourceful. They're very smart. I mean, we can get ourselves out of situations. It's not like, okay, you black, that means you're going to have to like die within like first 5 minutes of the movie or something like that. Or
Just
within,
look
like,
at Dwayne Martin in Scream 2.
Look at Jada Pinkett Smith in Demon Knight. She was
Oh,
the
yes.
standing woman in that whole entire damn demon
You
infestation.
love you some Demon Knight. I do too.
love it to death because that was the first time I saw a black woman make it out of a horror movie.
I know.
And-
Even though she had the Cisco hair.
She had Cisco hair. But
Maybe
she
that's
sat
where
there-
Cisco got the idea for it.
I hope he did because it don't work for everybody. But and also Roger from Night of the Demons. Now Roger from Night of the Demons was just like, these motherfucking demons not gonna get me. I'm running. I'm not
Okay.
gonna stand here and talk with them.
I've only seen
And
Night of the Demons too.
you have to see the first one. That's the best one out of all four of them.
Mm.
Night of the Demons 2 became a comedy. It became a comedy after. Well, it
All I
was
know
like,
is there was a lot of sex, and I was surprised by it.
oh well, you gotta see part 1, Night of the Demons 1. I'm sure it's on not Netflix. It's on YouTube somewhere. But so seeing Chris remember this motherfucker's on me. Let me snap his ass out. And so he sat there, reached for his phone, and reached for the phone and just snapped the picture. And
Oh,
and
yes.
And then so he turned around. He said, "No, let me do it." So he told, and he like, "Can I do it?" And then so the girl sitting thinking like, "Okay," because she's not thinking. Because again, she's too smug to think right now.
Yeah,
And so
Rose.
he sit there and blows her damn chest out, then kills himself.
Kabam. Yeah.
And again, so when those sirens, when this siren started to roll,
I
everybody
know.
in the theater was like,
Oh,
oh,
shit.
I mean, black and white folks, they're like, oh, fuck. Because they all knew what was going to
He's
happen.
going to get the blame.
He's going to get to blame all of this. And so even when
They
he
ain't
stood up,
coming with those
Right.
big-ass
He knew it was
donuts.
coming.
so when Rod stepped out the car, everybody in the theater started screaming and yelling and cheering and stuff like that. And so because we were like, thank the Lord. 'Cause
Ain't nobody else going to believe their shit.
nobody.
Right, exactly.
Because you've got a house burnt down with 3 bodies in it.
Right.
You've got...
Four.
Well, Georgina's... Wait, Georgina's... Oh, 4
No,
because of the art
Right.
dealer.
Yeah.
He didn't even know what the hell's coming.
Yeah.
Right. You got So you got 6 dead people.
Yeah, 4 in the house. You've got Georgina dead. You've got...
Walter dead.
Walter dead. And you've got Rose
dead.
shot.
Mm-hmm.
And if they had got she probably would have died by the time the ambulances got there anyway, though. But here's the thing. All those people at that party
She
should've
probably
been the
would
only
have died
witness.
anyway.
Yeah, she would have died anyway. And all those
Yeah.
people at the party that
Oh,
was
and they
there
could have
earlier
all,
that day,
corroborated, like, oh, he was a
Exactly.
maniac.
Exactly. And because it was his word against theirs. And they had no pictures, because keep in mind, nobody took any pictures at this party. And so I just felt like, let's say it like this, the way Jordan Peele wrote it, it should have went that way. I mean, should have.
Mhm.
It just seemed like that's where it was leading to, because all the evidence stuff was gone. So it seemed like that would have been the most, well, I'm not going to say most logical, but it seemed like that's what the ending there was headed towards. So when he switched that ending up, it gave everybody a breath of fresh air. And I guess it empowered a lot of people too, because especially me, because I was like, finally, we have a black protagonist who is resourceful and got away from the horror. He survived the horror and didn't have to go into another form of horror, which is prison. He just survived it, and he's gonna move on with his life.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that since Demon Knight, so yeah,
Rose is left to bleed out, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was
the
good.
bitch.
Yes. But Logan.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. That was a low leftover loose end.
Yeah, he's gotta fuck that old lady. Right in the
I
pussy.
was thinking the same thing. Like, you have to put the maternity.
That's right. What did Rod say? Sex slave.
And she looked like she was probably a big freak too. Like she was just like, I have all types of stuff in my house, and
Hashtag BBC.
she was all for it.
She's all about that BBC America.
But the problem is that just because it's bigger, you don't know, you have somebody who probably know how to use it. You see what I'm saying?
Oh no, she looks like she could get down.
She do. I'm just saying her husband probably, like, he does not know how to use what the fuck he has in his hands right now.
Oh
So,
yeah, probably not.
but she's just so happy to have BBC. So
Mm.
that makes up for it. So
Baby creep.
Oh my goodness.
All right, let's check in and see if Get Out has won any awards. And it has.
it better have.
Yeah, it's won a lot of awards and it's been nominated for a lot. So, over at the MTV Movie and TV Awards, as it's called now, in, this year, in 2017,
Exactly.
it won Best Comedic Performance, Lil Rel Howery, and the Next Generation Award for Daniel Kaluuya. It was also nominated for Best Actor in a Movie for Daniel Kaluuya, Movie of the Year, Best Duo, Daniel Kaluuya and Lil Rel Howery, Best Villain, Allison Williams, and Best Fight Against the System. I really don't know what that means.
Some bullshit they came up with. I cannot stand MTV movies.
I hate when they make up an award. It
Yeah,
just sounds so
give
weird.
somebody.
To make it seem
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over at the International Online Cinema Awards, INOCA, it won the Halfway Award for Best Original Score, Michael Abels, and it was also nominated Best Picture, Best Actor, Daniel Kaluuya, Best Director, Jordan Peele, Best Original Screenplay, Jordan Peele, Best Film Editing, and Best Ensemble Cast. It's been nominated for Hollywood Post Alliance Award. It was nominated at the Gotham Awards. It's nominated for the Bingham Ray Breakthrough Director Award, Jordan Peele, and it's also nominated for the Gotham Independent Film Award, Best Feature, Best Actor, Daniel Kaluuya, and Best Screenplay, Jordan Peele. Over at the Golden Trailer Awards, it won the Golden Trailer for Best International Poster, and it was nominated for in the categories Best Horror TV Spot, Best Thriller TV Spot, and Most Original Poster. And over at the BET Awards, it was nominated for Best Movie. Now, I will say that there are still several potential awards that this film could be nominated for. There is a lot of buzz for it to be nominated for Oscars, and that would be very surprising, number one, because it's a horror movie, and typically the Academy does not really pay any attention to horror. One of the things that it has in its favor, though, is because the Academy did increase a few years ago its nomination count in the Best Picture category from 5 to 10. So that does allow some like really good genre movies to get in the Best Picture field. Most notably, recently, Mad Max was nominated for Best Picture. And another thing that typically would be a negative for the movie was its release date, because this was released in the middle of February, and typically movies that are released in February, March, April, even May, I mean, they're sort of overlooked by the Academy because for the most part, movies that would like to be nominated are released around this time, throughout the rest of the year, the end of the year, I should say. So if it does get any sort of nomination, like it's pretty impressive, especially because the movie came out in February. And the buzz so far is for Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay, maybe Best Director for Jordan Peele in the Oscars. Those are kind of the rumors for right now. I mean, nothing's official until the nominations are dropped, I believe, in January. But there is a lot of buzz, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. I haven't really read much as far as acting nominations, but now that I see Daniel Kaluuya being nominated for the Gotham Award, the Gotham Awards actually are a really good taste test for the Oscars.
I noticed that they said, because I remember there was a big thing about that saying that it was a pretty good feat for a horror feature to get a nomination for a Gotham Award. So, but it's like, this is not your typical horror movie. It's a horror movie, but it's not. It's kind of like a lot of people will say Silence of the Lambs is not a horror movie. Let's say that the movie snobs would say Silence of the Lambs is not a horror movie. It's a psychological thriller because they don't want to sit there and put the moniker of horror onto it. But it really is a horror movie. And I guess some people could call this a psychological thriller, but it's a horror movie. it's a horror movie at the base of it. It's a horror movie because you know people dying and stuff is happening that's horrific, and you have duplicitous and evil people. And I also was going to say, what I was going to say when you was reading out the awards is MTV tends to ruin a lot of shit. They spoil a lot of shit. Because I know a lot of people still have not seen Get Out. So for them to nominate to Allison Williams as the villain, it just like spoils the whole movie. It's like, it becomes then like, when is this bitch going to turn evil? You know what I'm saying? When somebody watches it for the first time now. So it takes away their joy. And yes, y'all can come at me with the movie has been out. That does not mean because the movie came out in February, here it is, October, that everybody has seen this damn movie. It's some people who have not seen this movie.
And you love Rose.
Huh?
And you love Rose. You were rooting for her.
No, I was rooting for her at first, but it's again, like I said, people change. I changed alongside.
Oh, okay.
You screw me over, I will change right wrong. I will fit. I was, you know, if you screw me over, or you screw over one of the characters I love, I will change accordingly and want you dead.
Oh, okay, I like it.
I will want you dead. So yeah, so she got her just desserts.
I like it. And it should be made of note as we check on over to the Rotten Tomatoes. This film is 99% certified fresh. It was 100% fresh, but this one dude ended up writing a really bad review of it, and the internet kind of went crazy over this guy because they felt that he only did that just to drop it down from 100%.
And he probably did, and this is why, and I want everybody who listens to this to understand, you cannot go by Rotten Tomatoes. I'm just saying, because it is a piece, it's no offense to those who created the site, but it's just a piece of shit. I mean, I'm just saying, it's just because people would sit there and they would judge a movie based on a Rotten Tomato score and not judge it for themselves. It's like the next level of, you know, critics and stuff like that. And like I remember when, a prime example, I remember Austin Powers came out, the first one, and all the critics were saying how it was raunchy, it was nasty, and nobody wants to see anything about this, and it's not going to do well in the box office. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm not going to watch it. But my brother rented it one night, and we sat there and watched it, and I ended up loving it. And that was back when I was like, what, 10, 13, 11, something like that. And I said, I will never again let a critic tell me what to watch. You know what I'm saying? Because if you will miss out on so much stuff. Don't do that.
At the end of the day, if there's an interest, go see it, form your own opinion.
Exactly.
That's what's most important. Because, you know, at the end of the day, you're talking about people who are only submitting their opinions.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, that's it. Now, it could be based on, you know, studies of film and everything like that, but filmmakers make movies for an audience, and there is an audience for every movie that's out there, no matter how bad it is. Mm-hmm. So it could be awful, but if that gem somehow speaks to you, then you owe it to yourself to make sure that if there's any interest in it, you should see it.
Exactly. And on top of that, if I'm not mistaken, anybody can come in and write a review for a movie. They don't have to prove they actually saw it. I think because Jeff, prime example, Mother. People will write reviews about Mother saying, like, you know, I hate J-Law. That's not a fucking reason to sit there and say you hate the movie.
Yeah, I love Mother.
And so that's why I say Rotten Tomatoes is shit. And people keep saying, well, if Rotten Tomatoes says it's shit, then it must be. No. That's not how that works. And I just feel like there should be an overhaul of how Rotten Tomatoes works. You know, it's like, you know, you should answer some questions, like a quiz, to sit there and see if you actually saw the movie. Because it's like, if you didn't see the movie, then you should not have the authority to sit there. I think Apple has it on their iBooks. If you haven't seen, or if you haven't listened to read a book on there, if you haven't purchased it, rather, you can't give a review or something like that. So, yeah, you can read it somewhere else. You can listen to it somewhere else. But for you to come to Apple Music, they're like, no, you're the person with us. No, you cannot fucking leave a review because it's going to fuck up, you know, scores like that. So, but yeah, I Rotten Tomatoes probably had a good thing, but just you got people who just out there just to sit there and just shit on stuff, like they want to see the world burn, and they go for the person who wrote their one review because they want to be the other, they want to be the outsider, and or they could have been just like they wanted to be that, and I don't want this movie made by this black man to sit there and get 100% certified fresh. I'm gonna damage that. That's my duty in life.
That's true. And I loved Mother ! Lowercase m coming to the Horror Hotel next season. I loved it.
I still haven't seen it. Don't shoot me.
I'll try not to. All right, and just a little note before we hand out some awards of our own. Jordan Peele has discussed the idea of a Get Out sequel, and Get Out, at least when it originally came out, I remember hearing Jordan Peele in an interview. I think it might have been on Morning Joe, maybe. I know it was somewhere where I heard him getting interviewed about Get Out. He mentioned that this was like the first of potentially a trilogy of what he's calling social horror movies. So there's going to be some more in the future.
Well, Todrick Hall has already given us Get Out of the Closet.
Really?
I seen that clip. It popped up on my Facebook feed again today. It's about
King Bosch.
Yeah, so you saw it. So you saw. Okay, cool. I would go see. I would pay money to go see that if it was made to a full length movie.
Don't give him any more ideas. And him being Todrick.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry, that shit was funny as hell. I'm sorry, that was funny.
Well, damn. All right. So let's hand out some of our very own awards. You know, it might not be an Academy Award, but it's close enough, right, Legionnaire?
It is close enough.
I know, right? Who was the diva?
The diva.
That's a hard one.
I think I'm gonna single out Misty.
Yeah, I'll give you that one because she was just
because she was all about her hypnosis skills.
And she seemed very annoyed when she came out and had to fix Logan up. She seemed super annoyed.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was rude for sitting there just hypnotizing Chris without even asking. She started talking to him like that. Yeah, I'll give her the diva.
The ingenue?
The ingenue?
I would say Allison Williams, but I'm gonna give it to Betty. Who I forget.
Gabriel.
Betty Gabriel. Yeah, who played Georgina. Because she's iconic. Her facial expression is like iconic right now. So.
The biggest douche.
Oh. Can we just hand out an award for everybody who came to show up at the party?
Right. But for purposes of conversation, I'm going to say Jeremy.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. Yeah. I'll say Dean's a close second because that whole, I would have voted for Obama on third term. Greatest president. I'm like, shut the fuck up. That's the most common thing that nervous ass white people say to black people, make them so like they're with them. Obama was great. How about that Obama?
The See You Next Tuesday Cunt Award.
Now that goes to a Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scream Queen?
Like Keith Stanfield.
I know, right? Get out. Yeah.
I like it.
That works for me.
The shadiest moment.
Shadiest moment.
Oh, Detective
Latoya.
Detective Latoya.
Detective Latoya.
Yeah. Laughing at poor Rod.
And then calling other people in and listening in on like y'all
right.
Did that all on head concerned faces.
Yeah, that's true. That was pretty shady.
The kill of the night.
Oh, for me, the kill of the night was when he killed Dean.
Oh, that was good.
Who hated deers, but then got
yes.
by deer head.
Yes, karma for that ass.
That I thought was awesome. Like, oh, look at karma. What I'm saying. Come on, girl.
There's also racial stuff going on with that as well.
Yeah.
Well, because black bucks
Oh.
and a black man with a buck ends up killing him.
Well,
So
Okay.
yes,
I think that's a reach, but okay.
well, a little subtext. Look with Mr. Silver Spoon. All
What?
right. What about the creepiest moment?
whenever Walter and Georgina was on the screen.
The moment when Georgina was like splitting and she was crying, but like that whole scene was very well done.
Yeah.
Especially walking back from the damn forest, they still looking like, just grinning, like, I'm like, girl, stop looking at me like this.
Right.
Ugh.
What are you doing?
The moment that made you gag.
Okay, when you mean gag, you mean gag. It's like, yes, bitch. You mean gag, like,
It's up to you.
Oh.
Oh, well, for me, it was the reveal of the real plot.
Yeah. I guess for me, to piggyback off that, I want to say it was two moments when Lakeith Stanfield got snatched at the beginning of the movie, and then when Rod got out the car at the end of the movie. Because I was sitting there like, yes, bitch.
Yes. Because the audience was sure it was the police ready to take our boy to jail.
Yeah, the moment that made me gag in not the good way is while everything is going on downstairs, she's like doing her research for the next victim.
Yeah, I give you that. Like it's just another night in the Armitage house,
Right.
and this heifer didn't smell the smoke.
Exactly.
The most non-politically correct moment.
Oh my god!
Oh,
So many
the,
of them.
the auction in and of itself.
Exactly. I would say that was the combination of all of it.
Yeah,
But
I was going to
what-
say that the party / auction.
Is it true what they say about down there? How is it? Oh, let me fill him up.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And what was the scariest moment?
Scariest moment. I
I'm
want to say for me it was when Grandma snapped in the car.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
For me, it's just the whole hypnotism thing because it just happened. You know what I'm saying? It was just like he just sat down and started talking to her, and next thing you know, he can't move. That's creepy as fuck. I'm surrounded by white folks all day long. I don't need the kind of shit going on in my head. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if I want to talk to you. That's kind of how I don't talk to people right now at work. Like
Especially
I
if
keep
they've
everything
got
short.
spoons.
I try to stay away from folks that got spoons.
Mm-hmm.
When I go to regional meetings and stuff like that, they get to having that little. I look around and see if there's any other black people in there, but if it's not that many, then I try to come up and raise. When everything is, when spoons are put down and everybody's drunk their coffee or tea, whatever it is, I just leave the room, go use the bathroom, and come back, and everybody's paying attention. Now the plates and silverware and dishes have been taken away.
Mm-hmm.
I bullshit y'all not.
Wow. What if they had like those really good donuts?
See, I don't. This is a whole nother conversation because I'm sometimes scared to take food from certain people. Let's just say it like that.
Oh.
No, I'm not. When I say certain people, I'm talking about like people I don't know that well, and they constantly are trying to get you to eat something of theirs. I'm like, no, because you're doing it the most for me to eat something that you done bought. No. Now, if I know you real well and you bring some cookies or something to work, okay, let's dish out all these cookies stuff. But if you constantly come in like, Mark, I want you burst your way all across the room. I want you to try this. No, I'm good.
Put a spell on you.
And now I'll be theirs. And then I'll be theirs. I don't feel like that.
All right, Winifred. Well, now it's time to rank the film in our special categories. We've got Screamer, films that are filled with scares, Gutbuster, films that are grotesque, Eye Popper, films that are visually impressive, Gravedigger, films that lack scares, and Mind Blower for overall best in show. Mark, you are up first.
Everything on the list except for Gravedigger. Everything on the list except a Gravedigger. So I'm gonna give it like a mind blower, a screamer, an eye popper, gut buster, because the whole scene with them. Actually, they kind of cut like they take that gut buster back because it's kind of like he shied away from a lot of blood. Because I really wanted to see him crack Jeremy's skull in with his foot. I really wanted to see
Jeremy was
that.
horrible.
Yes, and I wanted to see Missy get that damn knife. I wanted to see it go in. I wanted to see it just yeah. But seeing Dean get that buck in his chest, and also when Jeremy initially got cracked upside the head with that damn croquet ball, that was pretty cool. But other than that, the movie is just awesome. It's symbolic in where we're going when in terms of like movies, because I'm a huge horror fan. I'm kind of wanted to talk about like the tropes of. I actually wrote a blog post saying it's 2017, and people still believe that black people don't survive horror movies because that's like a trope that is old. But so many people believe it that when you bring up instances, we kind of like 40 some odd black people survived a horror movie, and I'm not talking like they were like cast offs. Like yeah, they survived, they went off somewhere else. No. They made it to the end reel. They hit a couple of lines or something like that. And
Brandy,
because that bitch, I told her, but she went through so much glass, and I seen her still last summer. I said, you need to play dead. The next time you sit there and go through another thing of glass, play dead. Because she was she rivaled Sarah Michelle Gellar's chase scene. She went through so much glass, y'all.
I love Sarah Michelle Gellar's chasing because it's like 40 fucking minutes.
Exactly.
And the bitch was like, you ain't killing me.
And my dad watched the movie with the same scene. He said she shouldn't have stopped. He said if it had been him, he would have ran right smack into the goddamn parade, into the damn tube or something like that. You know, but Brandy survived all that glass. And so when she sat there and when she went through the last pane of glass and she laid there until everything was over with, and she comes out, Julie. I was at there like, yes, Brandy, yes. So
the power of the braids.
The power of the braids, the power of the melanin. That's the power of the melanin. So it was just the fact that Get Out is recently this weekend, Tribeca gave funding to a black writing duo that's about to write a black vampire story. So our stories in the supernatural are about to be told. Look at Superstition, just premiered on Sci-Fi this past weekend. Black people in horror are becoming a thing now, and people are going back and are studying black people in horror. And
the blood of Jesus.
No.
Oh, okay, let's forget that one.
Because I haven't seen it yet, though, but I know there's a remake of Ganja and Hess, which I discovered after reading about Get Out. You know what I'm saying? So it just opened up all these doors about all these movies. Abby, I didn't know there's a damn black exploitation movie called Abby about a black woman was possessed by a sexual demon.
Oh.
You know,
I need that in my life.
I'll talk about that later because I could take a whole damn hour talking about that. I haven't seen it yet, though, but I'm trying to watch it. But it just, Get Out has opened up all these doors. There's a class being taught in UCLA by Tana Ravdu, who is called a black horror class. So she shows black horror films and assigns black horror short stories written by her and other black authors that have been written since like the 1900s. So we're breaking that mold of black people do not survive horror movies, or we don't have anything to do with supernatural. We don't do horror and stuff like that. Get Out was the first to really break that mold. I mean, you could say Tales from the Hood did that, but I would swear to God, Tales from the Hood was before its time. And, you know, the blaxploitation films were like an answer to like all these other, you know, like Dracula, you got Blackula, then you had The Exorcist, then you had the Abbey, then you had JD's Revenge and all that stuff like that. But they're hard to find now, you know what I'm saying? Then there was Death by Temptation, but those are all indie movies. But Get Out was the first studio movie to sit there, well, outside of the Tales from the Hood. And some people,
those voodoo dolls scared the crap out of me as a kid.
They still scare me to today too. Oh my God!
I'm gonna buy you one.
Don't do that. You're not trying to give me a heart attack. I swear to God. But that's why I give it Best in Show a mind blower, because it is iconic. And I'm sorry if I kept going with all that, but that's just I wanted to say that. I really wanted to say that it's the movie that's going to change. It's just going to change things for us for black horror in general.
Yes, that was about as long as the Sarah Michelle Gellar chase scene from I Know What You Did Last Summer.
You know what? I'm muting myself.
It was a good chase, though. Legionnaire, what about you?
I give this one it's an absolute mind blower for me. It covers all the categories. This was a great movie, and I do not mind seeing it yet again.
All right, and I am going to give it Mind Blower, overall best in show. I feel like that covers it all as well, as much as what Legionnaire stated. I mean, it was just an awesome, amazing, beautifully done film. I'll give it a couple more. Eye Popper, because it was visually impressive, and Gut Buster, because we might not have seen much, but the deaths were still spectacular, and for good measure, Screamer. Even though I personally didn't find it terrifying, I mean, it has its moments where it's like really, really creepy. So, yeah. So I guess I agree with you, Mark.
Oh, cool.
Yes. All right. So let's rate the film on our special 1 to 10 hotel room key scale. The point system is allowed. I feel like I know the answers to all of this, but let's start off with Legionnaire.
This one easily gets 10 room keys.
Simple and straight to the point. I like it. Mark, what about you?
10 across the board.
All right. And, 10 hotel room keys. I think it's self-explanatory, to be quite honest.
Mm-hmm.
So, for the final time this season, please drag your bodies away from the ballroom and prepare to check out. Once again, here's one of our bellhops with a few special announcements.
Good evening. We thank you for your patronage. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR Horror Hotel. Follow Panpichulo Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube at Panpichulo Radio. For more information on Horror Hotel, visit panpichuloradio.com/Horror Hotel. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@panpichuloradio.com. Help support Panpichulo Radio financially by visiting gofundme.com/panpichuloradio. Are you interested in joining the Panpichulo Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@panpichuloradio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Panpichulo Radio programs by visiting panpichuloradio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Panpichulo Radio's Horror Hotel, and subscribe. We hope you've brought your death certificate. Make final arrangements now.
Thank you. For the last time, my fellow Horror Hotel team, please wish our hotel guests and the listeners a good night.
Get out.
Good night, listeners. Stay woke.
Baby creep. Thanks for tuning in. You may have checked into the Horror Hotel, but who says you're allowed to check out? Good night, and... Say it, Mark.
Get out! Get the hell out!
I like it. It's like I was in the movie again.